Hi, good morning. This video is to demonstrate how to configure hotspot and captive portal on a Cradlepoint router. First of all, you log into the NetCloud Manager. From the devices pane, you will identify that router that you want to apply the hotspot and captive portal configuration to. So here in this example, I will use this IBR 600C B07 as the demonstration. Highlight the device, the router, and click on the configuration and select edit to edit the configuration. So before we navigate to the actual hotspot service, right? One prerequisite is to change the LAN to edit the LAN that you want to or associate that hotspot to. In this example, we choose the gas LAN. It's a pre-configured, predefined configuration on this router. So as we can see from the information, right, the Wi-Fi SSID public B07 is already associated to this LAN. So let's enable this LAN, and then in the general setting pane, on IPv4 settings, we can choose the routing mode from a default NAT to a hotspot mode. Okay. So now this gas LAN is enabled, as you can see, and the Wi-Fi SSID is already associated. I mean, you can also associate another Wi-Fi SSID, or LAN port to this LAN that's from the edit LAN button. Now let's move on to the hotspot services configuration, which is above the local IP networks. It's here. In the hotspot mode, we can use simple as a demonstration. On the other hand, you can also have radius UAM configuration that's more complex and better security. In the simple mode, it will just port to the user a simple few liners of terms of use page, and provided with agree to terms button when the user try to log in or to try to access the Wi-Fi service, right? And the second line, you can see local IP network here, gas LAN, which is something the one that the configuration on the LAN that we previously configured there. Otherwise, you will see it's not configured here. Then click on here. You will also be navigated to the redirected to this local IP networks page. But in this example, I have already done so previously, so no need to do it anymore. So let's go back again to the hotspot services page, right? And allowed service on 3G, 4G modems. This is something that we definitely need to do because the buses will only be connecting to a cellular, right? And here, disable service if Ethernet threshold is met. We don't really need this in this example because by default, we are only connecting to 3G, 4G. So there's nothing to do with Ethernet threshold and in this use case, right? Yeah, the rest you can just leave it to default for a simple captive portal and hotspot mode. In the simple mode settings, right, we'll only be using internal terms of use. Here, in a simple mode, under simple mode, you have three options here for the display page. So the first one is internal terms of use. You can see external terms of use as well, and no terms of use, just redirect, which means that the customer will be the user will, when the moment they connected to the Wi-Fi signal, the SSID, they will straight away get the access to Wi-Fi, to internet. And these external terms of use, you'll be able to provide external URL, but it's also just a simple page, a simple URL HTTP page supported. right? They will still be provided with the Cradlepoint's default agree to terms button. And this internal terms of use is something that we are going to demonstrate today. So here I have already typed in a few liners. So line 1, line 2, line 3, all tests, right? And then redirection on successful authentication. In this option, you can choose whether to use to navigate directly to the URL the user intended to visit, or you can also define something that you want the user to see the first moment when he or she log in to get you access to the Wi-Fi. Alright. Here are some parameters you can choose: the session timeout, idle timeout, bandwidth. The bandwidth is something that we can highlight here. So this is to limit the user's bandwidth the moment when they are associated with this Wi-Fi. All right. In this case, I use 0 to allow as much bandwidth as possible. But of course, in the actual situation, we definitely need to specify a certain limit for each user to avoid to ensure fair use. Here we have some other options like allow host domain prior to authentication. That's up to individual case, and also we can specify a MAC address that we authorize. Okay, if all good here, we can just go and save this change. Then we can just go ahead and commit this change. Before that, let's take a look at before we commit these changes, right? Let's take a look at the Wi-Fi setting to ensure the SSID is enabled. So in this case, we are going to use the public, the second SSID, which is public B07. In this settings, right? Because due to the use case that we are demonstrating, it is a public free Wi-Fi, a complimentary Wi-Fi service, right? There will be so we'll put the security mode as open, so we don't require user to enter any password here. All right, and the rest we just leave it to default unless it's necessary. Okay, save this, and we just want to all we need to ensure here is the SSID is enabled. So now we can commit the changes. Say OK. Now we verify the configuration is successfully committed. Yeah, now you can see from the Wi-Fi list where you can see this public B07 SSID, and we just straight away and go and connect this Wi-Fi service.